we're at Interchange. So, all right, first, what is Interchange in a couple of words?
It's speed dating for producer, processors, and retailers.
I dig it. And you can hear a bit of a din, right? There's a busy room. So, okay, what's a win for somebody here? If you're a producer, what's a win? Find a store?
You've got basically 20 meetings that you have, 20 minutes with each person, and if you close a single deal, I suppose that's a win, but the idea is to knock it out of the park.
Sure. Share and, make more customers. All right, so now, what do you know, what's the history of Interchange from your perspective? What do you know of it?
I think it started about 2 years ago from the founder of Marijuana Venture magazine as a way to kind of get a networking opportunity to increase sales for some of these smaller producers by giving them an opportunity to meet with retailers at each booth. They ring a bell literally, and then you move to the next booth and talk to them and hopefully close a deal. So there hasn't really been that kind of interaction before, and now more are popping up, but this has got some years behind it, 2-3 years. So.
All right, so now, why would the Talking Hedge come here? Why are we here?
We're here representing the Cannabis Alliance. It's a lobbyist group. They have a booth to kind of help educate some of these folks, as well as kind of a meet and greet. They have some booths out here, some coffee. You can hang out, chat with people. I want to talk about 2020 predictions. We've got a podcast in December about recapping the industry as well as looking at the year ahead. So we're going to get some audio while we're here and see what some of these talking heads have to say on the Talking Hedge.
I dig it, right? Go to ground, go touch the people, go find out what's going on, go.
Yes, crystal ball.
Right, there we go, all right.
All right, station name for the record.
Ammon Ford.
So we are here at Marijuana Ventures Interchange, kind of a speed dating for producer, processor, retailers. Gleam Law is here, just as one of the ancillaries on the side, asking about 2020 predictions. What is in your crystal ball?
So the thing I'm most excited to see happen in 2020 is the rise of lesser cannabinoids. Everybody knows THC, pretty much everybody knows CBD these days, but what relatively very few people know about are any of the other 100 plus cannabinoids that are out there that have been, that are facing broadly less regulation and less control than CBD or THC right now. The popularity of those two has focused governmental regulation on them, and so we're starting to see companies and individuals starting to isolate and breed for those other cannabinoids, and no one's touching that market. No one knows what, very few people know what a CBG vape is really going to feel like, and and how well that's going to sell into various markets. The possibilities and the types of products that we can produce for consumers is so broad, and we haven't even begun to inch in that direction, or rather we have just begun to inch in that direction. And I'm really excited to see where that goes in the next year.
So I would say that ties it really well in with accurate dosing, technology behind that. We didn't really see a lot of movement, I should say. There are a few products that did come out and they look decent. I don't know how accurate they are. There's some rivalries in there, but hopefully with additional cannabinoids, CBL I've heard is really good for arthritis and some pain, medicinal properties that you're seeing in Europe, and we haven't even talked about that in the US, so I would look out for that. Anything else, any kind of legislation, any kind of capital movements, any other trends you want to say before we close out?
Well, I definitely would support, and I'm excited about the States Act and the MORE Act. They're moving through the federal government. However, there's so much happening in Congress right now that is so unrelated to this that I think is going to bog down those bills. I think that Republicans, just as a political calculation, they've got to focus on their base, and that means not necessarily supporting cannabis laws they would have otherwise supported. So I don't have a lot of optimism for those bills in the Senate. I think the fact that they passed the House is a reflection of what is a political calculation on Democrats' part, because it is a safer bet for them with their base. But I expect that the cannabis legislation won't occur until after the next president takes office in 2020. So we'll see.
Ammon Ford, Gleam Law. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Steffo Mitakides with Cannacter.
Stewart with Cannacter.
So what's Cannacter? What are you guys doing here at Interchange?
We're a business-to-business platform. It's a platform for farms to deal directly with stores and stores to deal directly with farms. Basically, what we're trying to do is to really solve a problem of inefficiency, both from a buyer's perspective and a seller's perspective online.
So essentially an e-commerce platform for finished goods in the cannabis space.
Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely. We make both jobs easy. The seller's job to get to the buyer and the buyer's job to get to the product. So it's kind of seamless interface and much more friendly for both parties.
So 2019 needs simplicity like that. 2020 is going to need a lot more. What's your crystal ball prediction? Where do you see the cannabis industry in 2020? What's going to be trending? Where's it going?
I mean, trending-wise, I think that everybody realizes there's going to be a shortage of flower, shortage of cannabis, and that it's going to get worse throughout the year. So that's my prediction. As far as technology, where we spend a lot of time, we're really hoping that the trend is toward more automation. Just like with any technology, any software, any cloud technology is where I come from. The cloud world is getting toward automation. I think the challenge is going to be to make sure that you make it as easy as possible for people to do things, that the actual automation has a value and isn't just whiz-bang technology.
Any trends that's going to be happening for 2020 that may be disruptive or just out of nowhere or just a continuation of 2019?
Should I say CBD? Should I?
Let me say this. Let me answer that one. I think we're disruptive. I think we're going to disrupt distributors and the old way of selling and buying. I think it's not going to be easy to do. One of the things that we're doing as we're building this platform is really big on feedback. Like, we are continuing to be in beta. We do not believe in build it, they will come. We believe in getting really good feedback, getting buy-in from buyers especially, having them tell us how they want to buy, and then they'll buy it through us.
So I think a lot of repeat customers come from not differentiation, but that loyalty comes from an experience. And so really that restaurant experience is what draws people in. Not the food, not the waiter, but just the ambiance and the whole experience as a whole. And once cannabis brands understand that it's not about the highest THC at the lowest price point, we're going to start to see a whole different market segment form. And so with that is going to come other opportunities, maybe drop shipping, and that customer preference and what we're seeing with the expectation of Amazon Prime, order it, have it delivered in an hour. That's an experience. That's what people want. And so what is your opinion about drop shipping happening in the near future with cannabis? What's the obstacles, roadblocks, and opportunities?
If you look at Amazon really is all about fulfillment. I mean, they sell a whole bunch of things, but at the end of the day, they act as their own country and their own massive mailroom, and they're all about fulfillment. If cannabis could do something similar, that where drop shipping was a reality, it would certainly cause a lot less stress, be a lot less cost for farms to deliver. I don't know if that's going to happen in 2020. I would love it to happen. It's happened with CBD, where you can now mail things under 0.3% THC with CBD. With cannabis, until it's federally regulated as legal, it's not going to be allowed to drop ship. You're not going to be able to do it because mail is federal. Maybe you can get around it with UPS. Maybe you can do some funny things. I certainly wouldn't want to send cannabis through USPS.
The exception would be new regulation or legislation that would make transporting and that warehouse a licensed entity, and then you could deliver it potentially.
Right. Are you still talking about fulfillment via transport, or are you really talking about drop shipping in the mail?
Delivery, just like Amazon, from a warehouse.
Got you. I see. Yeah, I misunderstood that. Well, I mean, I think that would be the way it's going to go. There's going to be centralized distributors, and there are going to be warehouses where things are going out of and into and out of, rather than it being 1,000, 1,200 farms, and you having to drive out to OMAC to
get a regulatory thing at this point. Really, is all it is stopping it from happening. But there's still a lot of regulations that need to change prior to it, I think.
Because California needs something like what you guys are offering, because with the 5th largest GDP in the world, following the U.S. actually, there's such an opportunity between Redding and San Diego, and there's mountains in between blocking Nevada. And so really, unless you have big warehouses throughout that giant state of California, there isn't really an opportunity for farms in the Emerald Triangle to reach San Diego and still have a fresh product without drop shipping and still have that experience of an hour delivery.
Yeah, I think it is. In the needs definitely there, the wants there. If you look at other businesses, it's standard practice. It's just regulatory right now that isn't allowing that to happen. So I think everyone's just kind of waiting for it to flush itself out a bit.
All right, so how can folks find
Cannacter.
How can people find Cannacter?
At www.cannacter. Appreciate that. Yeah. Like the connector, but for cannabis.
That's it.
You
Appreciate
knew that.
it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
David Tran of Fairchild, what's your 2020 prediction?
Well, to me, events are going to take a big uptick. I think that becomes one of the main ways that companies are going to be able to get in front of their target markets. Expos are going to start niching down into certain categories and
so you just sold Dope Magazine at High Times. Does that help with the expos you're talking about? Is that going to help businesses because that's an availability or a platform to advertise? For marketing and advertising? Is that why you think that events are going to help businesses?
Absolutely. I mean, the evolution of marketing and advertising, weighs heavy on social media. Right now, I think we're going to get back to the human connection. That's why shows like this are successful, and that's why you see smiles going on here, because there's a real ROI to it. The Interchange is a perfect example, and I've been getting, again, feedback on whether or not this is an effective way to build expos, and everyone undoubtedly has said yes.
What do you say?
I'm here. I'm participating.
Yeah.
The more and more I have opportunities to meet my fellow, community members, the more I'm going to have more tools, and I'm going to have more relationships that can, lead to more business and, other things.
Any other trends you see for 2020 moving forward, either from this year or just coming out of nowhere? Anything else before we wrap this up?
Profitability. Companies are going to be shooting for profitability this year, as they look for more funds, and that's going to weed out some people, but overall we just need to get closer to other traditional businesses and industries.
The CEO of MedMen said that he was spending at will because he could, and then now it's all about profitability. So looking at it from a valuation standpoint is definitely going to be moving forward. I think with capital kind of being constrained and investors on the sidelines, the only way to move forward is profitability.
Absolutely. Going through Dope Magazine, I've experienced it firsthand. Sometimes the ship is getting built and the industry is going so fast that, you neglect to, you're spending a lot more money than you should because you're experimenting. These are things that haven't been done before, and people did understand it at the time. Again, new industry, lots of mistakes to be had, but now that we're building a little more of a proof of concept in the industry, I don't think there's any reason not to build your business plan to be a profitable business plan. And as you grow, people will be more careful when they scale their businesses.
So is it a Fairchild events at MJ BizCon that I saw? You guys got some big stuff going on?
Yeah, we're doing our launch on 12/12 in Vegas. We've been doing the Golden Ticket Party for 3-4 years. It's been iconic there. We're happy to say that we've teamed up with 11 incredible sponsors, and we're going to put together this really incredible memory and experience. And for us, there's a lot of surprises there, but anyone that's really been supportive of us and understand that's what it's all about. We want to give back to those people and show them a good time, and also thank them, and again reconnect, because that's what MJ Biz is all about. But it's such a big show that the way you spend your week is very important. All the people that you want to talk to are there. How do you plan? How do you prepare for that? And ultimately, towards the end on 12/12, we'll all celebrate these relationships.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, man. I'm going to have to try and sneak into that event.
Yeah.
How can they find out more about Fairchild?
Well, to me, it's fairchild.com. check us out. We're going to build a platform so that we can help event producers and also give the public, again, the awareness of where the cannabis events are. Whether it's a business event, whether it's a cultural event, whether it's, painting on vases and smoking cannabis and yoga. Events become such an important part of our culture. And we're going to continue to develop it and help people do it in a compliant way, so they can, again, cut their runway down to their success. And, it's exciting and new.
Hell yeah. Congratulations, brother. Happy New Year.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Jared Lavitt with Heliosphere Solutions. And what am I predicting? Just anything for 2020. Ooh. Bold prediction, I predict that CBD vaping will overtake nicotine vaping in all the states where recreational marijuana is legal.
Ooh.
Boom.
That's a good one. We're all cannabis states are legal. Medical or THC or both?
I would say in all recreational states that it is legal. Bold prediction, I think it'll happen in 5 years. The bold prediction is it happens next year. Stay tuned.
Do you see the Soul Pod having dual chambers in 2020?
The Soul Pod, no. I think we're going to make a custom mold with a special extractor to get that going. And we'll make it just for you. We got one in the mail as soon as that's ready for you, Josh.
Yeah, the advantage of that is CBD or THC or indica sativa having 2 carts and 1 battery. So, come back to the Soul Pod.
Yeah, I think with a lot of the flavor bans and the uncertainty of vapes, I think a lot of smoke shops are going to start to pick up hemp and CBD as their main product, not just smokables. So I think that's a trend that we're going to see not just now, but moving forward for a long time.
Like vitamin supplement, it's everywhere, or sugar, it's everywhere.
What do you mean?
CBD, you're saying it's going to be all over the place.
I think it's going to be just more commonly sold in the smoke shops than a lot of the nicotine and a lot of the pre-roll tobacco, a lot of that stuff. I think they're going to have that, but it'll be more of an ancillary item.
Normalization, I guess, is what I was getting at, referencing other industries or whatever. We're sitting here with Jared, CEO of Heliosphere at Marijuana Ventures Interchange. 2020 predictions.
Jenna Bartell. So Jenna, all right, so I had a chance, I walked into your booth a little bit, right? I started talking to somebody, very well informed, very nice. They said that if I want to know about you guys, I should talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about you guys. Who are you? Why are you here at Interchange?
Sure. So we're here as Ario Vape. We design and manufacture vape pens that are geared towards specific consumers, like baby boomers and seniors who have dexterity issues and want a vape pen that will just always work.
So niche market stuff.
Yes. We have one that is geared towards connoisseurs that takes all kinds of oil carts that are out there. We have a look and feel that's appealing to women, as we know that women are the primary decision makers when it comes to your health and what goes into the house.
Sure.
And so we're here to show the retail stores and producer processors what we offer, including the fact that we can also custom brand them if they want to put their logo on them.
Right, so if I want a white label or...
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now an event like Interchange, okay? So we love Marijuana Venture, right? They put together a good thing and all of that. So what's a win for you here? Are you looking for customers? Is it about contact? What's a win for your organization to take the time to come to this?
Absolutely. Interchange is a great way to reconnect with our existing customers.
Oh, I dig that.
Show them what we have that's new.
Neat, right?
Find out if there's anything we can do to set them up for the holiday season, and then hopefully get new customers from retailers that we're not currently in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now last big question. Okay, so now I stumble into your booth and I run into one of your working cohorts, right? And they're well-informed, they're nice, they seem to know what's going on. But then I find out that they're, quote, new. How'd you find somebody who's so to speed that is new? How does that work? How'd you do that?
We are really lucky with Cami because she used to be a buyer of ours.
Oh, wow, okay.
At a retail store.
Okay.
And that relationship ended at the same time that we were looking for someone, and she already knows all of our products. We trust and respect each other, so it worked out.
I dig it. In the end, it's about the team, right?
It's always about the people. Yep.
I dig it.
Thank you so much.
All right, you know we get lucky. We're on the floor at Interchange. We're hanging out. We got a mover and shaker. Your name for the record, sir?
David Tran.
All right, so now Interchange draws some cool people, but what are you doing here? Because you're like the coolest of people. I don't get it.
No. I'm just a part of this community. I've been a part of this community since we started Dope in 2011. there are a lot of friends here that have been going through the battle and of building a cannabis business,
right?
In the inception. So I'm just here always to support. I mean, if you want to be a part of the community, you have to participate. And to me, it's great to see these incredible leaders continuing to set the bar for everyone. And Interchange and Greg from Marijuana Ventures continues to do this incredible job of bringing people together, and that's really what I have been doing for a long time, and I continue to love. And to your question earlier, that's why we created Fairchild, and Fairchild is an event-based company that focuses on producing events and also building a platform to help event producers throw really great compliant shows. And the more we can do this, the more we're going to connect people, and people here are connecting and people are doing things together. So I love it.
So if I want to make something happen, or if I'm somebody who knows of you and follows you, right? Yeah. Basically, I hunt up Fairchild as an event company.
Yes.
And I make some noise, I make something big happen.
Absolutely. We want to help you throw your events, or we want to throw your events for you. We're also going to throw other events, and then ultimately at the end, we want to build a marketing platform so that we can continue to show everyone that this industry is growing. There's a place that we can all build a community to, and that everyone's a part of it.
I dig it. Okay, so last big question.
Yes.
So Interchange.
Yes.
I mean, there's a buzz kind of going around it, right? I mean, I dig that. I mean, you're somebody who pulls this kind of stuff off. It's not easy, is it?
Producing an event in the cannabis industry is as difficult as it gets, whether it's compliance, regulation, and just the idea that, people are starting to get used to spending their money this way so that they can get their marketing. So, the key here is that people are doing business. Everyone here that I've talked to, they have a smile on their face because they're meeting their next client and their next business partner.
Turning orders, right?
That's it, and that's what this is all about. If we can get closer to having real meaningful conversations, we could do a lot more.
Ryan Porter, founder and CEO of Toptender, what is your crystal ball prediction for 2020?
All right, so my crystal ball prediction is we're going to see a little bit more of cooperation between companies and processor producers from state to state. I think in 2020 it's going to be important and that we're going to see brands crossing lines more freely. So finding a partner that they can work with for contract manufacturing in California or Illinois, I think that's going to be a big thing in 2020.
I dig it. So, okay, so now what would you say is the foundation for that prediction, and tell us how you arrived there?
So my foundation for this prediction is that we've got a lot of great brands being created. They're limited by capital, and they've been really holding on, but we're going to come into a tough time in the cannabis industry where it's going to be important to have some allies and grow. So I think if they get out there, build those relationships, attend some of the events such as MJ BizCon and others, they can start to form those relationships with people in other states and find a trusted partner. It's the evolution of our industry where, I bet you Dan went to a lot of the marketplaces and did a lot of handshaking. That needs to happen at a much larger scale. But then these guys will be able to get their brand to more people and hopefully build a better business.
All right, so that was kind of a mashup of media and some fun. We've left Interchange. Hey, I got a chance to talk to Greg James about
Founder
the whole
of
thing.
Marijuana Venture.
Yeah, the whole thing about, again, because there's like a den in there, right? It's like they're busy. Everybody's busy and working today, so I dig that. So, okay, so what's your takeaway from Interchange today? Josh Kincaid, Capital Market Analyst.
I think it's a little bit slow, which is surprising because it's post-harvest, which means either people are super busy and have sold a ton of stuff and don't need the help, but relative to the spring show, it was a lot lower of a den, maybe less people, less energy. I don't know. But in the spring, it's packed, it's busy, it's eager. There's a voracious kind of almost not tension, but it's thicker. Where today was just smooth. It's the second day. It's freezing outside, and they're just kind of doing deal making. But it seems like business is moving forward.
Right. So I respectfully disagree. I found it very ordered and processed today, and I think what it is it's effective. I think previously we might have seen it when there might be a mismatch between number of balance on both sides, right? Daters and datees. In this case, I think there's the right number. So, because the people I talk to were talking about, whoa, yeah, I'm doing biz today. So I dig that. So anyway, all right, so we're in Renton. We went and visited Interchange. It is the Talking Hedge, which is what? What is it?
It's your cannabis business podcast.
I dig that. And then let's leave and we'll go.
I'm